Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. My name is Stephen Hackforth, and I'm joined with Sarah Vantine, and we've got an awesome, awesome panel right here today. We're going to be talking a little bit about mobile service and the Fixed Ops world. So, yes.
That's right, Stephen, and we have our special guests, Nolan Armpriester and Mike Weldon, with us. Gentlemen, welcome to the panel.
Thank you so much for having us.
So, you are very successful in the space of mobile service, and this is a rising industry trend. So, what better opportunity to pick your brain? What is setting dealerships apart in mobile service, and what are some techniques that dealers can embrace to improve mobile service?
Well, I think just getting into mobile service is step one, right? Because there's a lot of
Yep.
people that are afraid to jump into it.
Yeah.
Retail is obviously the easiest way to get into it, but commercial and fleet is where the real opportunity is in the industry, and I see that continuing to grow. It's just a matter of finding solutions to these fleets' problems and being there for them.
Absolutely.
And Mike, you're seeing a lot with Center for Performance Improvement on the training side for mobile service. Tell us what you're seeing out there in terms of what dealers need to be working on to embrace it.
I think, first off, agreeing that mobile service is the next thing.
Right.
I think that's the struggle that I see most. They had the service, they've invested in it, but it's a loser. And then they go back to their dealer principal and they tell them that it doesn't work, but it actually does if you invest and you put a lot of energy into it and you get your people excited about it.
Nolan, you've seen this firsthand, and I just would love to get the perspective. So from the dealership operations side of the equation, what has been most impactful for your customers and mobile service in general?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because they're from the retail perspective, CSI and retention, right? I mean, those are two things that get overlooked a lot. And I believe the stat is 90% of customers that have one mobile service experience will continue to use that. That's unheard of, 90% retention to anything in our industry.
Yes.
So I think your real opportunity, and again, with CSI, you almost have to try to get a bad survey. It's very hard to, as long as you show up on time, you give them the service that they're paying for, it's an automatic good survey and you're going to retain those customers.
So I have to ask, because I worked at a dealership that struggled a little bit with technician embracing of the mobile service. Do you have any advice on how to cultivate a culture that embraces that new system?
I think you have to set the expectation from day one, right? So when you're interviewing these technicians and these candidates, you have to set the expectation of what that role entails, and you're going to know if you have the right people or not from that point. I think a lot of times we set technicians up to fail and we set ourselves up to fail by not being clear by our communication when we're hiring them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And by, thinking about just the long-term goals for mobile service, I mean, this is not just a buy a van, get started type of problem. This is something that you really have to be strategic in how you're going about structuring your mobile service business.
It is. And, you guys were talking about technicians, and I think that's the baseline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And setting the right expectations, but also giving them a path for growth. And then that support mechanism and making sure that you're working with your guests or your customers and making sure they're getting the service that they deserve so they come back time and time again. In fact, Ford, since we're talking about Ford, and has that new recording system, and I was over there and looking at it, and man, it tells you everything.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? And I hope more dealers embrace that because it'll help grow the business. Yeah, I agree.
As experts in growth and mobile service and the industry in general, do you guys have any success stories that you'd like to share with us that might inspire those that are looking to get into the world of mobile service more?
To be honest, I think you guys hit the nail on the head with a lot of dealers have one vehicle. They talk about how it doesn't work. Look, we can make anything not work, but mobile service pencils every time you do it. So you just have to be willing to put the time and effort in it. You have to have ownership that believes in what you're doing and supports you. And you have to be consistent. You have to inspect what you expect every day, and the results will follow. Yeah. But you have to really focus on it and make it an everyday thing.
Must have.
Well, Mike, what's ahead in 2026 for mobile service? What are you seeing? Across the country, we have East Coast, West Coast, lots of different applications for this.
Well, there's several different vendors that have come into play as far as supporting mechanisms for the Ford Mobile Flat program. So one is you need to understand what they have to offer and see where that fits in with your business model. We talked about commercial. commercial is huge, and they need that service, as well as, continue with the residential, because that's where our retention comes from. But just getting people to embrace it. Look at the data. Get excited about the business, because everybody wants to bring it into their store, but no one's doing bricks and mortar anymore. So you have to expand your business outside, and those opportunities are immense.
Nolan, what about you for 2026? What lies ahead?
Just expansion. Just going to keep growing the business. Going to keep going after commercial accounts. Retail obviously is a huge part of it, but the real opportunity for generating income is with commercial, because as he just said, it's endless. The possibilities are endless as long as you're willing to go out and then do the work. The billable hours are there.
I'm fascinated by this. So, as a young professional that is very interested in the mobile service world, I didn't even think about the commercial side and how that could be just such a massive thing. So, can you educate me? What are some of the challenges that are faced in those trying to break it in the commercial aspect of mobile service, and how do you embrace those and turn those into opportunities?
I think the only challenge is their mindset, right? So you have to be open to doing anything. So one of the contracts we just landed, we're doing roll-off dumpsters. They don't have VIN number, and it's not even vehicles, but they need serviced, right? We're fixing welds, we're lubricating the wheels for them. So just being the solution for those people, and when it comes time to buy a vehicle, you know where they're going to come.
Right.
Mike, final thoughts.
Go mobile.
Well, everybody, mobile service is on our minds here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Stephen Hackbarth, Nolan Armpriester, and Mike Weldon. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.